I do want to touch on giving JRUE HOLIDAY a lot of love here. Like, in the same way that you talk about Jason Tatum doing all of the things except for scoring, JRUE HOLIDAY is doing all of the things and scoring, right? He's making all these critical plays. He's defending Kyrie Irving, making those shots really difficult, forcing Kyrie to go left, even though Kyrie might be the greatest, in the paint scorer, with both hands, ambidextrous, all that other type of stuff. He's making it look very difficult. And he's kind of inside track for Finals MVP. If we were to do such a thing, like, I just think missing piece, because if he's your fourth or fifth best player, then baby, you got problems on the other side.
Man,
big problems.
Absolutely. Finishes with 26 points. I think it was 11 of 14 from the floor. 11 rebounds. And it's so, like, you think of JRUE HOLIDAY and you think of him functionally, and as we've seen him for his whole career, as a point guard, right? Or a combo guard at most, like on the ball. In Boston, he's like, it's the guy that he's essentially replacing, Marcus Smart, used to joke around and call himself a stretch six. And where it's like, what position is JRUE HOLIDAY? Well, where did a lot of his buckets come from tonight? From the dunker spot, right? He's he's spacing the floor under the basket. And I think it's kind of fascinating because he's a player where when the ecosystem is functioning, he looks, he is like the beneficiary of a lot of it. So I don't want to diminish JRUE HOLIDAY's individual contributions, because those 26 and 11, that was gigantic. And to say nothing of the defensive plays, as you mentioned, the huge, gets the deflection, turns into a steal, winds up at the three-pointer, like huge momentum shifting plays. I think he had 4 offensive rebounds, like extra possessions he's getting. He's doing everything they need him to do. But a lot of it, when you'll look back at those shots, a ton of it is generated from Tatum downhill, Brown downhill, right? So it's when we've got our spacing, when we've got the 5 out, we've got Porzingis in the slot, or we've got Horford in the corner, however we move the chess pieces around, and it's beat a man or get a ball screen, turn the corner, get downhill. And it's JRUE with his spacing at the dunker spot or in the corners, which he never spent this much time in the corner anywhere he's been before. And it was a big adjustment for him all season long. Get used to being able to take those shots, and also what you do if you don't take the shot. The driving angles are different. The spacing is different. Where you are on the floor, get comfortable with it. He was so comfortable at, all right, you're like, I get the ball on the swing in the corner, closeouts coming at me, quick fake, and I go. And just like getting right to the rim, being able to use the backboard as the rim as a shield off the shot blocker. He had all of those things fluid and flowing and just so comfortable in what they're asking of him in that offense. But so much of it starts with Tatum around a high ball screen, or Brown in ISO against the defender he can beat. And then once the defense collapses, that's when you get the spray. And then all of those plays, he has to make them, but they are there to be made to a larger degree because of the way that the rest of that offense is just stress testing that Dallas defense possession after possession. And you're absolutely right. Like, this has not been overwhelming Boston defense, overwhelming Boston offense. Dallas's defense played well enough to win in some of these games, but it is the challenge of dealing with all of those ways you can get broken down. And then, 90 possessions at a time, 95 possessions at a time, it is a lot to deal with. And if you lose focus for a second, or if you lapse on a rotation for a second, if your low man's not ready for a second, all of a sudden JRUE HOLIDAY is putting the ball in the basket and putting your defender back there with them. And so, yeah, absolutely sensational game from him that I think is like the kind of thing that if you wind up with like an Andre Iguodala MVP type situation, it certainly wouldn't be unwarranted. JRUE HOLIDAY has played sensational, but I think it's also a manifestation of this is what this team looks like when it's cooking, and it provides those opportunities for other guys. And JRUE HOLIDAY has absolutely taken advantage of them.